Hello and welcome back. Not only are we back for a YouTube video, Nick Stav is finally back from his Europe trip from watching Arsenal arguably bottle the league. But since I've gone and came back, football, it's been a wild space. Let's talk about last week. Have Arsenal bottled the league? Have Man United bottled top four? But is De Gea also feeding his haters with some of the mistakes over the weekend? But Pags, good to see you back on here. How you doing, big man?
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Some great football to catch up on. The relegation race is heating up as well as the title race. So.
Yeah. How about you in La Liga? You liking that recently?
Well, I mean, Barca's kind of run away with it. It's good to see Real Madrid flop, though. Okay. Always good to see Real Madrid lose a couple.
That's it. Hey, Danny Ceballos is cooking in midfield, by the way.
Danny Ceballos.
But first topic I want to bring up on this Nick Knows Ball show today is Man United to bottle top four. Hey, all the Man United fans, you were giving me shit about Arsenal apparently bottling the league. Listen, these 2 1-0 losses in a row. Brighton away, Alexis McAllister slots one in the top corner. Then they go and lose to West Ham away, 1-0 De Gea with an absolute howler. We'll get into him later, but Pags, only 1 point separates Manchester United and Liverpool. Although
game in hand?
Yes, although Man United do have a game in hand, can they bottle top four? Listen to this. The only reason I'm going to look at this is that Man United's next 3 opponents is Bournemouth, Fulham and Wolves. Let's be real, they are winnable games. Fulham maybe can muck them up, but do you think Liverpool can catch them in this top 4 race?
Well, yeah, I mean, I see it 2 ways as well. You bring up Bournemouth and Wolves. Both of them still like relegation or top bottom half, so they've got things to fight for as well. They're not completely safe, especially Wolves at least. But also on Liverpool's side, 6 wins in a row, especially like the grit that they've showed in some of those games, especially the Tottenham game.
Yeah.
But I just think that like Klopp might have won back the dressing room now. Because I know there was that debate whether he's like run out of steam, whether that cycle's over, the 7-year Klopp cycle. I think he's finally won the dressing room back. I'm not sure exactly what he's tinkered and changed with, but I just think it's more the mentality switch.
I'll tell you exactly what he's tinkered with. He's moved Trent Alexander-Arnold into that inverted midfielder role. Of course he wanted to do that against Arsenal in the first game. Of course he wanted to do that when Trent was cooking in that game. But ever since he's done that, he's moved into midfield. It's given Trent Alexander-Arnold that extra few touches on the ball where he doesn't have to be a liability one-on-one at that right back. What I'll say about Liverpool is I think they've peaked in form. The only thing is I think they've peaked too late. Where at the end of the day, the top 4 race is not in their hands. If it was in their hands and they were in the driving seat, 100% would have taken that spot. Where now they have to rely on Man United to drop points. Don't get me wrong, I will love it. I deserve it. I don't think we will get it. But I think Liverpool, honestly, going into the next season, they add a couple midfielders. I'm telling you, they'll be slipping themselves back in the title race.
You see, this is the issue I have with Liverpool at the moment. I know a lot of Liverpool fans are saying, oh, we didn't have the money to spend. I mean, Gakpo for, what was it, 42 million?
No, I think it was like
Darwin,
I think it was under 40.
It was 40.
Yeah.
Darwin for like, what was it, 75, 80.
80.
Then you've even got like, you know, Kanate for a decent sized transfer as well.
Yeah, but
he's quality. But I think what they should have done was signed players that like bolstered their depth on the bench. Because you look at the depth that they have, like Keita, Henderson, like even Joe Gomez, like
Bajetic, Curtis Jones.
You can't have players like that. I mean, and then I was just trying to look at January signings that were cheap. Even Jorginho to Arsenal was 12 million. That's an easily feasible transfer Liverpool could have gotten. Daley Blind went to...
Daley Blind? No way, bro.
Daley
brought
Blind
up chasing the top 4 and throwing Daley Blind.
Daley Blind goes to Bayern Munich. And he's playing, he's balling out there.
Oh,
I mean,
bro,
Bayern Munich
please.
obviously floundering, but he's been playing well there.
Oh, God.
You've even got, Depay going to Atleti, 2.6 million I brought up.
Brings up Atletico.
But I mean, I just think there were smarter transfers that they could have done. I mean, obviously, Gakpo will be good for them.
Okay, Gakpo's a good signing. But at the end of the day, they already had Luis Diaz on the wing, Diego Jota, Mo Salah. Yes, although Luis Diaz is injured for a lot of the season, but they did have quality out wide. Yeah. What I'll say, though, to go off Liverpool, I'm going to go back to Man United. All these Man United fans coming at me, Arsenal fans. So, if Man United win the Carabao Cup and we make top 4, we're going to have a better season than Arsenal. Arsenal, best season, they've won nothing. Bruv, focus on actually getting top 4 first before you do that argument. And second, you won the Carabao Cup. No one in this room actually really cares about that. What I will say, though, if Man United bottle top 4, it's a worse bottle than Arsenal bottling the Premier League. I'll tell you why. Manchester United...
We're in that title race.
Man United apparently were in a title race. Yeah. They've been fighting with top 4 with no one else in the top 4 race. Liverpool have been shit for the whole season. Chelsea spent 700 mil and tapped out of that top 4 race. Spurs are absolutely fucking woeful as well. And they've had the battle. Yes, Newcastle United have outperformed, but what teams are they competing with? Brighton and Fulham for top 4, and you telling me if they drop out of this top 4, sorry, it's a worse bottle than Arsenal.
No, I do agree. I do agree. Especially considering that like the Carabao Cup is like it's
Caraboobies Cup.
it's been City's second squad winning it for the last like 3 years.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like you can't take that as a serious like claim for a season. I have to agree with you there.
Yeah. What I will say about the point, we have to address it, is that I went all the way to London, and since I landed in London, Arsenal then drew 2-2 to West Ham. They drew 3-3 to Southampton. They lost 4-1 to Man City. And we so-called bottled the league.
So basically, Arsenal fans, if you want to have any chance of winning, just don't let him near your club. Don't let him anywhere near your club.
Don't let Nick Stav land in London. But what I'm going to say here is that I'm going to be real frank with you. Arsenal did not bottle this league. I know. I do not care what you say. What I'll say to you is this. We were top of the league for, 247 consecutive days. But let's talk about this Man City side. At the end of the day, is a goddamn super team. They've got probably the best manager, arguably, in football history.
Yeah.
Not only did last season you look at that Man City side and they go, they have this elite squad. They push that beautiful, quality Liverpool side all the way to the final day of the Premier League. A Liverpool side that probably should have won the Champions League. That's the level side they had to push to the end. They then look at that squad and they go, okay, Zinchenko, Flick, Gabriel Jesus, Flick, we don't need you. Who's the hottest man in world football at the moment, Kylian Mbappe or Haaland? Oh, we'll take Haaland and we'll slip him straight into that side.
And then who's the second best young striker in the world? Julian Alvarez? Oh, we'll just pop him on the bench
we'll pop
as well.
him as well. So the thing is that Arsenal then go, okay, Zinchenko, Jesus, oh, we'll take you. They're Arsenal's two best signings, yet Arsenal led the league for 247 days. If anyone let Arsenal not bottle that, is that Man City the ones that let Arsenal take the lead for that long. They should have the chip on their shoulder. At the end of the day, I just can't see how Arsenal, using their loose ends, being their best signings, how we can say we bottled the league on that.
See, Stav, I've got a point on that, okay? I think by the whole comparison to City in terms of like they bottled the league, I agree. It was an overachievement for Arsenal to be where they were. And I'm not saying that it's like a bottle considering their results. What I think is the bottle job was their drop in mentality. So I think the results, the 3 draws in a row, I think they're excusable. I think the results are excusable.
I disagree.
I think the mentality is inexcusable. You look at them after the games, especially, I remember it was the Southampton game. You've just come back from 2 goals to salvage a draw in that game, and those players were despondent. They were on the floor, head in hands.
Rightfully so.
No.
They drew 3-3 at home to bottom of the fucking league. They deserve to be destroyed. If they're happy after that, then sorry, I'm done.
No, it's not happy. No, it's not happy.
No. What I'm going to say here is that Arsenal being 2-0 up against West Ham and dropping that game, inexcusable. Drawing at home to bottom of the league, Southampton at home is inexcusable. Losing away at Man City is not botting league. And I'm going to bring up something. No, listen to me, yeah? Because before that game, Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV posted a video saying, oh, you know what, I think Arsenal can take away, maybe they can get something out of this game, Man City. Everyone in the comment section, bro, is he deluded? Why is he saying that? Arsenal fans jigging themselves up. But when Arsenal lose to Man City, we're apparently we've bottled the league. So if we're deluded to think that we can get something out of the game, but we technically bottled the league after losing that game, where is it? Because Arsenal losing away to Man City, they're a 10 times better side than us. They deserve to win that game. You can't say we bottled the league. Those 2 games of 4 pegs, that's inexcusable.
No, I'm saying this. I'm going to use another comparison. You know I'm an Athletic fan. Well, you know I'm an Athletic fan. We won the league in 2020, 2021 that year, the COVID year. There was a point in that season where Athletic were like 10, 12 points clear at the top. And it was like almost not expected, but we were like, oh, if we lose the league, we've bottled it. That was the whole point. Then we go and lose twice in a row to bottom of the league. It was a draw and a loss. Yeah. And at that point, it was only like 5 points, and it got closer and closer. It then came out that Koke, team captain, it was like a hidden chat that he had with one of his friends, I think it was, where he pretty much is saying, we're winning this league now. He goes, it is now, everyone is against us. We are going to win this league. We are stronger than ever because of this. And that is the mentality Arsenal needed to have.
Okay, but who'd you guys verse after that? Exactly, you didn't verse the best side in Premier League history. That's
you're using one little technicality in that you played Man City next.
Man City are a fucking super side and Arsenal lost to them fair and square.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the mentality needed to be better going into those games.
You know what?
That mentality drop off is inexcusable to me.
You know what? Let's get to something that we do agree on instead of something that we disagree on. What I do agree with, and I think you agree with it, is David De Gea. What the hell has happened to him? Yeah, he is probably. I'm not even going to say most overrated goalkeeper in the world. I think he's probably the most overrated player in the world. I think there's a section of Manchester United fans that hype him up and defend him. Oh, his shot-stopping ability is so great. Well, the thing is with them that what they say is that he currently leads the clean sheets in the Premier League. He has 15 clean sheets. For me, I look at that, I think like you got to tip your hat off to Lissandro Martinez, beautiful signing, and Rafael Varane, and even Casemiro shielding that defense. But what I can't understand is that how can you back his shot-stopping ability yet? Don't get me wrong, his ball-playing ability at the back, I think a lot of Manchester United fans will say that's what lets him down. But if you're so inconsistent at saving shots yet you're not good at playing out of the back, how can you be a great keeper? I don't want to ask you this question. What has caused this demise today? Because before 2018, let's be real, I would arguably say he was probably the best goalkeeper in the world.
Well, I would say that Tifo actually had a really good video on this. I'm not going to steal all their points, but they had a really good video where De Gea is a goalkeeper because, as you said, technical ability isn't the best, shot-stopping ability is great. He's a player that if his team is playing poorly, aka he's saving more shots, he's looking better. And United, for a long portion of that, were playing pretty poorly. So he gets their player of the year because he's just saving all these shots. But then now Ten Hag's come in, wants United to play in a lot more of a possession-based style. So obviously goalkeeper's going to need to get more involved. He then is having his a little bit of exposed. He's getting a bit exposed. His technical ability is not that good, and that's where United's issue is now coming because his technical ability is asking to be played. He's asking to be played more long. He's not playing to the fullbacks as much, but he's asking to play long. It's not working out for him. And it's just going to be decided whether they can find some sort of compromise on it, honestly, because it's like, I do think shot-stopping, he is still one of the best goalkeepers, but he's just got that error in him. And it's you can't have that in a top-class side.
What I totally agree is that you look at every single time Man United are doing poor, he's having a great season, but he's holding him back. He's that line where it goes, when you want to take that next step, and when you take the next step as a big club, you look at who's at the top of the two in the Premier League. Arsenal, Man City. Who's the two best goalkeepers playing out with their feet in the Premier League? Edison and Ramsdale.
Oh, I mean, Ramsdale against Newcastle, bro.
Exactly. Unreal. And then that's what I'm trying to say is that, what I say is that Man United fans can say, oh, De Gea is great. If you're Eric Ten Hag, I can guarantee if you're in his shoes, he would bite his arm off. If you said you can swap Aaron Ramsdale for David De Gea right now, he would bite his arm off to do that.
But then this is what I ask. Who comes in instead of De Gea? Like, who
I look at Raya. I look at Raya at Brentford. What, can you bring him in for, 20 mil from Brentford? Spanish goalkeeper, can play out of the back. I think he's a perfect signing from Manchester United. The only issue they have is that he's a club. Maybe legend's a bit hard, but club hero.
I would put legend.
You would say legend?
I would say, at least in the modern era, especially considering how bad United were at some point, I would say he's okay, legend, statement, icon, club icon.
Yeah, like a hero.
Yeah,
club hero.
like for this generation of our players.
He's been there for over 10 years. I think the issue they have with him is pushing him out the door in a respectful manner. You have something that might come up in the future in Spanish football regarding arguably the best player of all time. You're going to bring him up?
Yes. So Lionel Messi, he's had the falling out at PSG, suspended for his trip to Saudi Arabia. Don't understand that at all. PSG fans booing him every second. Can you imagine booing the GOAT of football? Can you imagine?
They're so ungrateful, that fan base. Fuck that fan base, bro.
The whatever you want to call it, bond, friendship between PSG and Messi seems to have faded. And Barcelona have come back into the talks of potentially signing him next season. Now, it would require a lot of things to fall into place. Now, Barcelona would have to raise 100 million in revenue because, as we know, they've had their financial issues. So I ask you, Stav, if you're Barcelona at the moment, who would you sell in order to get back Messi? Who would you sell to raise 100 million?
I think first on that list, if they can get rid of him, I'll probably go Ansu Fati. I don't get me wrong, I know. Well, at the end of the day, he does hold the number 10 jersey at Barca. So if they do get rid of him, Messi can take back that number. I just think he's too injury prone. When he came in at that age, was it 17? He
was unreal. Yeah. Absolutely unreal. And people rightly thought he was going to not take the throne, but be a good substitute for Messi.
There's not many players.
It's just sad that those injuries. Though. It is sad, but. Fair enough. I would say Ansu as well.
Off the top of my head, it's hard. What other attacking players do they have in that lineup they can get rid of?
I mean, I would either say it's between Ferran Torres and Rafinha for me. Because they're both. They're very.
Both.
I don't see both because I mean, who else do you have? You've got Dembele. That's they're not getting rid of Dembele. You got Lewandowski obviously up front.
Striker.
They
probably do need to hold another one.
They've been trying to push. If you know him, Alejandro Balde, the young left back. They've been trying to push him up to left wing. He's not been bad, but they need to have quality at the wings, and I only see them getting rid of one. For me personally, it'd probably be Rafinha. They could probably get a decent sum for him. He's younger as well.
Didn't Barca have an issue where they had to offload Gavi recently as well? So that could be another player that could offload.
No, they haven't offloaded Gavi, but
But it could be on the cards.
It was because of his they couldn't actually register.
Wait, if he leaves, he goes on a free, doesn't he though?
It's not a free. It's his release clause. It could either be a free or his release clause gets dropped to like 20 million. It's
Oh
something
my
ridiculous
god!
like that.
Okay, if they need to raise funds, he would have been how much would he go for? You reckon 80?
Close to that.
Yeah.
If Pedri's going
Maybe
for like
for 100,
Gavi is the fact is they're so young. As
Not
well.
only is he a good player, he's actually.
But then Stab, also wanted to ask you just quickly on that. Messi going back to Barca.
Yeah.
So obviously he's left Barca, come back.
Yeah.
Would that be the biggest transfer in football history?
The biggest.
Think about it. The best player of all time going back to his boyhood club. That wouldn't?
No, it wouldn't.
So what transfer would you say?
Because you've always kind of seen that this was going to happen. You kind of like, when I say this, that Messi went to PSG, he never felt at home. He always was linked back to Barca. Do you know what I say is a bigger transfer? Ronaldo going back to Real Madrid. Not to Manchester United, 100%. Because the thing is with Ronaldo, he left Man United. He was a different player then, an out school 1-1 winger. Then moves to Real Madrid, absolutely kills it. Puts it in a statement to arguably the greatest player of all time. Moves to Juventus, and then finally, homecoming with all this drama, transfer news. Ronaldo then returns to Manchester United, where Old Trafford was absolutely rocking. Scored double on his debut as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Messi GOAT guy, but I feel like he was always at home at Barcelona, where Ronaldo kind of left the Prem as probably the greatest player in the Premier League at that time, and then always like wanted to come back. Was always on the cards. Would it happen? And then it finally did. I'm pretty sure that was like the most liked photo on Instagram at that point in the sporting world when he signed for Manchester United. But if Messi does go back to Barcelona, the fans will go ballistic in Spain. We know how the Barcelona fans are. I just think the whole fairy tale and story of Ronaldo returning after it would have been over 10 years, where Messi's been a couple seasons, he never really felt right at PSG. Ronaldo's definitely a bigger transfer.
I don't think definitely. I think it's a good point. I mean, I even think Neymar's to PSG was like.
That's a groundbreaking one, but it's not fairy tale.
Not fairy tale. I didn't use the word. I said biggest, just the biggest. I think
that was the biggest fee.
Yeah, no, just the biggest fee, but I think it just changed the landscape of transfers forever.
I'll give you. No, that's a good point.
Fair enough, Steph.
One point I want to bring up, and we'll actually move a bit away from football. We'll talk about football on the virtual side of things. You and me growing up, we loved our FIFA. We grew up with FIFA YouTubers, my favourite being Spencer FC, KSI, and people like KSI have been absolutely, they made their ground break through FIFA, but now they don't really play FIFA anymore. There's a long list of names. And not only do these YouTubers not play it, do you and me not play it as much? So I'm going to ask you this question. Has FIFA, personally in my opinion, FIFA in the latest few years, I've been falling out with it. Every single year, it's like, not only am I stopping after Team of the Year, this year I stopped playing before Team of the Year. And I'm going to ask you, is FIFA slightly dying out? Is the content dying out? Or is it more of a fact that we're just growing up? Or is it a mix of both?
Oh, it's definitely. I wouldn't even say it's the quality of the game because, like, I mean, have you tried going back and playing old FIFAs?
If you're not playing, if you miss out on FIFA for 2 months, your team goes.
No. I'm sorry. I meant like, have you tried playing like a FIFA 15, FIFA 16, the games that we love playing?
Oh,
have you tried going back and playing them? Like how different? It is like night and day for how different the gameplay is. Like I would say the gameplay now is like amazing. It's top class, top quality. Where my issue is, and it's what you brought, it's a mixture of both. It's that back in those days, you could play for fun. You could hop on with a rare gold squad, you know, your cheap beats. Like I was trying to think of players. Remember Ramirez?
Yeah, Ibarbo.
Not even Ibarbo. You think of who was there? Samuel Eto'o back in the day. And then
Russian club.
Yeah, and then also Loic Remy.
Yeah, Loic Remy, bro. QPR card as well.
Yeah.
But that's what you're trying to say was the easy accessibility to get a gold card. Where now it's like you look off the game for 2 months and you come back and Martinelli's then got a 94 rated card. Saka's got a 96, and you go on the foot champs, and you're trying to compete against these super teams after you're just trying to play like a casual and have fun with the game. That's where I lose love for it in the sense. I think that's an issue to it, but I do also think is that we are getting older. We are phasing out. We've played the same game for the last, 10 years? Every single year, every single month, every single week, you're playing the same game. You are going to phase out of it, but I don't think it does have that same love and affection. I don't think gameplay is the issue. I just think we're just getting the same content year in, year in, year out, and it's evolving too quickly.
Well, I mean, I think of it as well as it's almost like they're just trying to cater too much to giving us dopamine hits in terms of with how much content there is. Like, I mean, you think back in the day when you packed some like shitty 83 rated M4.
Yeah,
You would go ballistic. You'd be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
Bro, I packed Team of the Season Kane last night, and I was swearing at the screen.
Yeah,
that just
it's
shows
ridiculous.
the difference.
It's like they're just trying to give us so much stuff that it's just desensitizing us to like actually having quality in the game. Whereas like, you know, as I said, the gap between playing competitively and playing for fun back in the day was very little. You know, you could still do well with you know, average teams and overpowered cards. But nowadays, it's like, unless you're spending either like hours and hours and hours a day on the game or thousands of dollars on the game, there is no chance you're getting close to like, you know, reaching top levels anymore.
Do you know, actually, I'm bringing up a funny story. So last night, I'm back to streaming on Fifa. So if you haven't checked me out, Nico Stavros on Twitch, check me out. But it's funny because I've came back and my team sucks. So I needed to load up FIFA points. Anyway, so I go live on Twitch and I go live on TikTok. On my Twitch, I've then had to put my credit card details on my account to load up FIFA points.
Oh no, stop.
And then I've switched off the screen on my Twitch, but I forgot to do it. I forgot to do it on TikTok.
No.
So I've typed in my credit card number on the TikTok. Thankfully, I didn't put my month and my CVC date on there. Also, I would have been properly gone. But I was this close to like losing thousands of dollars over FIFA. And that's why I don't play the game, man, because it's either I take my money or I get scammed from it, man. What an absolute joke. Anyway, I'm going to move back to the football world, and let's talk about the one man that is dominating football at the moment, Erling Braut Haaland. Not only has he gone and broken the EPL goal-scoring record, he's absolutely gone and smashed it. Not only did he beat Mo Salah's record of 32 goals, he's actually beaten Andy Cole and Alan Shearer's record
Hey, don't forget
of
about
34.
Dixie Dean. Don't forget about
Dixie Dean, yeah, his goals in the season. Who the
1960.
fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that guy? But Erling Haaland's already on 35 goals. I think Man City still have 4 games to play. He could creep up to 40. He could creep up to 40. But I'm going to ask you this question, Pags. Not only if Erling Haaland then goes ahead, he's already broken his goal-scoring record. Man City look like they're going to take out the Premier League. They've got a Manchester derby in the FA Cup final, which, let's be real, on paper, they should be beating Manchester United. And not only do they have to overtake a Real Madrid in the semi-final of this Champions League, but they go to the final, they verse a Milan or an Inter Milan.
Underdogs, you know.
Underdog, but on paper, they look like they could take out the treble. If Man City go ahead and take out the treble, and Man City, Erling Haaland already has this goal-scoring record, is he the favourite to win the Ballon d'Or?
It is such a tough question to ask because, like, no disrespect to Haaland, but like he's not the most graceful footballer.
No, he's not. See, that's the way I look at it. I think Erling Haaland, if he does bag the treble and he's already got the goal record, he does deserve the Ballon d'Or. That's coming from someone that I think Kylian Mbappe is a better. Kylian Mbappe over this last year has been a better footballer than Erling Haaland. Lionel Messi has been a better footballer than Erling Haaland. That's why my head's going to scrage when I see him win that Ballon d'Or.
I think it depends on how things go towards the end of the season and like closer to the start of next season. I know because of what's happened with Messi, of course, this falling out with PSG, it's like tarnished a little bit of his season. But I still think people are forgetting about that World Cup. Like for Messi to win that World Cup the way that they did.
It's arguably one of the best World Cup
individual performance. Like I would say that is up there with Maradona in '86.
It probably could be the best. If you look at it, probably from the best. He dragged them throughout the group stage. Every single game in the knockout stages, he scores in a double in the World Cup final. That's probably the best.
There,
but that's going to hold a lot of value in the Ballon d'Or voting. But there's breaking a goal scoring record in the Premier League in your debut season, and then winning a treble with Man City, who've had, let's be real, a Champions League curse on them. For him to go and take that out, that doesn't happen often. No, where someone's going to win the World Cup every 4 years, that's going to happen. But Erling Haaland doing what he do, that's not going to happen. I think he takes out the Ballon d'Or, unfortunately.
Then you've got to ask that age-old question about the Ballon d'Or. Is the Ballon d'Or given to the best player in the world or the player that's had the best season in the year? Because I think we've said this before, if it's for the best player in the world, Messi wins that every year. Every year. Yeah. But if it then has to go to the player that's had the best season, then you have to have Haaland. Because I don't think a player's had a better individual season since the likes of Prime Messi. And
seriously?
I mean, Prime Messi, Prime Ronaldo. Mbappe's have come close.
You're probably right.
But in terms of coming into a new team like that and just having this much of an impact, I don't think I've seen that before.
He does have the luxury of playing in that Man City side.
He does, but
Alvarez, Foden.
You still have to perform. You still have to perform.
At the end of the day, Man City had Sergio Aguero, arguably one of the best strikers in Premier League history, not putting up near enough of these goals that Erling Haaland did in the exact same system. From talking about a player that's absolutely dominating the scene in the world right now, Erling Haaland, I want to bring up a player that you said, and you always boast, in Diego Maradona, that dominated the scene back in the day. You sometimes tell me he's arguably the greatest of all time. Are you going to bring up a point that you're
Yes,
thinking?
yes. So, I mean, you get them on the videos when you're commenting, even about a player that was like 10, 15 years ago, but it's people going, oh, you didn't watch him live, so how can you comment on him? It's got to be one of the stupidest arguments.
I completely agree with
Like-
you. But do you know what way I look at it? I go, if I'm a player I'm a fan from this generation, and I had, let's say I had someone like Martin Odegaard dominating right now, and I just missed out on a Mesut Ozil. Bro, I'm not going to be a nostalgia merchant on Mesut Ozil when I didn't even watch him. If I'm bigging up someone like Ozil I didn't even watch over a Martin Odegaard, a player that I have an attachment to because I'm growing up with him, that just shows that I'm not a nostalgia merchant. If I'm bigging up a player that I'm not watching. Also in the sense that, bro, there's footage and highlights out there.
Exactly.
I can go back and watch games. So, like, you can go and retreat where when you watch a live game, sometimes you get caught up in the moment.
Yeah,
sometimes
100%.
when you look back at highlights and things like that, you can actually look, okay, he just did that, he did this. And you're a player that does big up Maradona.
Yeah, but it's almost like even the way that like highlights are going now, it doesn't have to be like a compilation of skills and goals. Like you can look at highlights of like players, just general game intelligence. Like I'm pretty sure there's videos of like Sergio Busquets, like where like it's like his like drop of the shoulder, the way he can turn through midfielders, where it's like it's not goals and assists, but it just shows you how good he was on the ball.
The one example I look at is always Thierry Henry. I look back at that guy's highlights, and when people say, oh bro, how can you say he's the best Premier League player of all time, just you're an Arsenal fan, you didn't watch him. But you go back and watch some of his highlights. I've never seen a guy that quick, that direct, that skilled, that good of a
skill
finisher.
with the speed, man.
And you just look at some of his best goals. You ever look at some of his best goals, just his attribute on the ball and his passing ability. He held the Premier League assist record, and his scoring still like absolute bangers goals, dragged Arsenal through so many title races. Don't even get me started. He won a Champions League World, please. People that say Thierry Henry is not the best player in Premier League history, go eat your heart out.
Yep.
I'm going to move on to that point, to our hot take of the week section. We'll bring up hot takes that we came up, and we just thought over the week. And my hot take is, you know what, a lot of people go to me, oh, you're an Arsenal fan, you have a weird obsession. I'm Man United fans, or you Man United rent-free in your head, Nick. You know what, there might be rent-free in my head. So, I'm going to bring up a hot take that I came up with. A lot of Man United fans have been saying Lisandro Martinez has been the best centre-back in the Premier League this season. They've been saying he's been better than Saliba. My hot take of the week is that Lisandro Martinez is not better than Saliba this season. Actually, Gabriel Magalhaes, Arsenal's other centre-back, has actually had a better season than Lisandro Martinez. Gabriel Magalhaes at the start of the season, yes, he made a few mistakes. He was a bit clumsy. I think he gave a penalty away against Tottenham, gave a ball away against Fulham that we then conceded. But post the World Cup, I don't think there's been a more immense defender in the league, putting your body on the line. He's covered for Saliba a few times, has made mistakes as well. And his ball-playing ability out of the back is absolutely elite as well. He's a left-footed centre-half. But I did think post-World Cup, been the best centre-back in the Premier League.
Well, I don't watch Arsenal or Prem as much as you do, so I don't have too much of an opinion. From what I've heard, though, with that centre-back pairing of Saliba and Gabriel, it's that centre-back pairing of one of them's the ball-playing, the graceful one, the centre-back, which Saliba is. Yeah. And then the other one's got to be a bit more of the defender.
The stopper.
The old type of defender.
The stopper and
tackle.
sweeper. That's what they are. Because one game I look back on is the North London derby, and that's how it was. Gabriel was absolutely a rock. But then Saliba was like your sweeper. Ball behind Harry Kane, he snuffed it out quickly. And they've complemented each other so well. And let's be real, proof's in the pudding. I'm not a guy to throw hate on Rob Holding. Proof's in the pudding. Saliba gets injured out of this side, and Gabriel's had to operate with a Rob Holding that he hasn't operated with all season. Also then draw Liverpool at Anfield, draw with West Ham away, draw with Southampton at home, and then lose to Man City away. I'm not that guy to push blame, but the proof's in the pudding there that Gabriel and Saliba have probably been the two best centre-backs in the Premier League season. Eat your heart out. What was the hot take you thought of over the week?
So we're coming up to the UCL knockouts. We've got the Champions League semis coming up. I think the away goals getting knocked out or scrapped in the Champions League was one of the worst things that could
Bro, I totally agree with you. Do you know what I'll say about the away goals? Away goals were the only time in football that if you were down a goal and then you scored, you could go from losing to winning. In any other sport, that can happen. If in basketball, you can go from losing to winning. In NRL, you can go from losing to winning. Where soccer or football, you have to score to get an equaliser, then you're drawing, and then you win. The dramatic, talk about the moments that we've had with the away goal rule. I think of Kostas Manolas's header against Barcelona.
You've got Juve Real Madrid, that semi-final, when Juve had come back from 3 goals down and Ronaldo scores that pen.
Yeah, Sergio Roberto's goal against PSG. 6-1. These are most iconic moments.
So, I mean, obviously, Arsenal fans not really had much Champions League running. But as an Atleti fan, some of my best memories of them have come from the away goal rule. In 2016, you had against Prime MSN, Torres scoring away at the Camp Nou. That was a vital away goal. Griezmann scoring away at the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich. And then you also had in 2014, I will never forget this one. It was Atleti versus Chelsea in the semi-final. Torres scores the goal. It was 0-0 first leg at the Vicente Calderon. Away at the Stamford Bridge, Torres gets the first goal. You'd think that it's kind of, are Atleti going to get back in? And then they score 5 minutes later with that away goal. You know that their game's done now.
But that's what football is about. Those iconic moments, like they're moments like your kids will go back. Oh, Dad, did you ever watch the Sergio Roberto comeback? Yeah, we did. Where you look at the Champions League now, when you actually look at it, Real Madrid's game against Man City last year, Rodrigo's second goal in that game should have actually knocked out Man City completely. So could you imagine that moment where Rodrigo then scores the second in the space of 1 minute and knocks out Man City in the space of 60 seconds? And that could have gone down as one of the most iconic games in Champions League history.
And then just one more point on that. It just adds a level of like a different element to the games now. Whereas now it's just kind of like 2 games, home and away. Whoever wins over the 2 legs wins. But with that, with like having away goals count, it meant when you were playing at home, you obviously have to, you have to try and win your home games, but you didn't want to let them score because you know it would give them that advantage. And then when you were playing away, you play a bit more defensive because, you want to play on that counter-attack to catch them out. So it just added so much more of different like mind games. Yeah. And nowadays, as I said, it just feels like it's just 2 games.
It does. Moving on from a hot take of the week, we're going to move to our section where we bring up a TikTok comment that we found in our TikTok comment section. We go, bro, this guy does not know ball. And I get that a lot, but my comment I found this week comes in from football.vids._7. And he goes, Snick Stav, you need to realise that Bruno is better than Odegaard and Rashford is better than Gabriel Jesus. So then it got me thinking, I was like, okay, so if Man United have a better number 10 than, so Bruno is better than Odegaard, Rashford's better than Jesus, Casemiro is better than Thomas Partey, Lissandro is better than Saliba, De Gea is better than Ramsdale. So what's the actual issue with Arsenal being in a title race and you guys are battling for top 4 can drop into Europa League? So that's one thing I don't understand with Manchester United fans. If every single player is the best player in the position in the league, Luke Shaw's the best left back in the league as well. If you have the best player in each position in the league, how aren't you competing for a league trophy? So don't say I don't know ball when that comment definitely has no ball knowledge. Pags, what was the one you found?
So I had a video, top 5 underrated goals of my opinion, and Maradona was one of my choices where he takes his ball, it's coming over him, first touch, takes it past the center. First touch takes it down. Second touch past the goalkeeper. Third touch taps it into the net. And now anyone who's played football will tell you how hard it is to control a ball that's coming over your head where you're not looking at it. Like you're looking
over the shoulder.
But then you've got that one moment where you have to look forward and then just judge it where it's coming. And he's done that so effortlessly. And so now I've had Ile Laufer, no idea who this Donny is. He's come out and says Maradona's goal wasn't that good. And I responded saying, try it yourself, mate.
Bro, please tell me that's sarcasm.
Because anyone who's played football, I mean, Stav, you weren't even that good, bro. And you can tell me how hard.
What? Fuck off, bro. Man, I scored a couple good volleys back in my day, man. Nick Stav was an absolute poacher. Hey, Sportshed TV, if you ever get a football charity match going on, get Nick Stav in the midfield. They'll call me Andres Iniesta.
All right, so Stav, I've got some trivia for you. Again, coming up to the UCL knockouts.
Nick Stav's ball knowledge exposed?
Yes, pretty much. I'm going to expose you in this time. So, I'm going to give you 5 Champions League finals. And then you've got to tell me the scoreline in this game and a bonus point if you can get my next question.
Bro, I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't know Champions League trivia, bro.
Exactly, man. So, let's see how you are. 2016-17 was Real Madrid versus Juventus.
Yeah.
Scorelines. 3-1, 4-1, 3-0, or 4-0.
4-1 to Real Madrid in the
purple
kit. Let's go,
now,
baby.
So that's 1 point. For the bonus point, who scored for Juventus?
Mandzukic.
All
Top
right.
goal was a bicycle kick. Hey, come on, man.
That was a little easy. All right. 2012-13, Bayern versus Dortmund. Scorelines. 1-0, 2-1, 3-0, 2-0.
2-1. Iron Robin scored and Ilkay Gundogan scored for Borussia Dortmund.
That was the second
Come on, bro.
one.
Nick Stav knows ball.
All right. Okay. 2010-11, United versus Barca. 2-0, 4-2, 4-1, or 3-1.
It's either 2-0 or 3-1. I only know 2 goals from that game being Messi's goal and David Villa's. I'm going to go 2-0. Oh, it was 3-1.
3-1?
Oh!
And who scored for United?
I actually don't know. I'm going to say Wayne Rooney.
Okay, he's redeemed.
Okay, I've got a redemption. That's a good one.
Quarterback to 1-1, and then Messi just goes and buzz Messi things. All right, 09-10, Inter versus Bayern Munich. 2-1, 2-0, 1-0, or 3-1.
I don't know this one at all. It sounds like an Inter game. I'm going to go 1-0.
2-0.
Oh,
and
close.
now, who scored for Inter? Give you a hint, it was a brace.
Diego Milito?
Yep.
come on. At least I got the goal scorers.
Funny fact, that year, he scores a brace in that Champions League final, pretty much wins the league for Inter as well. Not even in the top 30 for the Ballon d'Or that year.
Not even top 30?
Not even top 30.
Fucking hell.
Absolutely disgraceful.
He was robbed. But, hey, that proves that Nick does know ball.
One more.
Oh, you got another one?
More.
Okay.
One more. 07-08, Man United versus Chelsea. Now, it did end in a draw. 2-2, 1-1, 0-0, or 3-3.
I think it was a 1-1.
It was 1-1?
It was 1-1, and Ronaldo missed a penalty.
And now, who are the three that missed their pens? You've got one in Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, John Terry.
Obviously.
It has to be someone else from Chelsea.
Yep.
Ivanovic?
No.
Who was it?
Nicholas Anelka.
Oh, I was actually going to say Anelka as well, I swear. I swear I was.
We all have those. We all have those.
You know what? That was decent for me. From an Arsenal fan.
I think it was 6 or 7. It's pretty good.
You know what? Just before we wrap up the show, me and Pag are going to give you one of our bold tips of the week.
Yep.
And my tip comes from being maybe a delusional Arsenal fan.
Absolutely.
Everton playing Man City 11 p.m. on a Sunday night for us Australians at Goodison Park. I'm going to say Everton 1-1 against Man City. I'm going to tell you why this. I'm going to go Michael Keane scores an absolute banger, either a header or a banger from outside the box. They should have drawn with them last season. If you remember, Man City won 1-0. And Rodri actually handballed it in the box. And, of course, Man City slipping money under the table like they always do. Slip the refs a bit of money and they get away with that game. Right. But Man City have gone to Goodison Park and dropped points in the past. I don't know if you remember.
The 4-0?
Yes, Tom Davies scored.
Yep.
You remember that game?
That game?
I'm telling you, hey, Goodison, it's rocking on match day. Hopefully, Man City drop points.
I mean, Stav, that is to go from an absolutely delusional take to quite possibly a sensible one. I want to make you guys some money here. I've got Atletico Madrid to beat Elche. It is the most informed team in Europe right now against. They are.
Most informed team.
We've picked up the most points in Europe in the second half of the season.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, shit.
Only lost one game.
Oh, here you go.
So, the most informed team in Europe against the most out of form team in Europe, pretty much already relegated Elche. And if you want to just get that extra bit of money, I've gone with Atleti to go to over 2.5 goals. All this bullshit about Atleti being defensive is absolutely gone. They've scored 13 goals in 3 games, and with Simeone pretty much starting the same team every week in, week out, that does not look to stop. And if you want to get even more money, I've got Antoine Griezmann for a goal and an assist. 4 assists and 2 goals in his last 3 games.
In last 3 games? Yep. Is he playing in midfield?
He plays wherever, bro.
Top
wherever you want him, he's there.
I got to say, you have shone the light on me and Antoine Griezmann. I have really turned the corner. He's been an absolute baller. But, hey, hopefully Arsenal keep on balling out this season. Let's put the pressure on Manchester City. But that is going to be a wrap for Nick Knows Ball episode 2. We will be back next week, maybe with a special guest, maybe with a big name. But stay tuned, find out. Follow Nick Pagano on TikTok and Instagram and do the same for me. And, guys, enjoy the day. And come on, Arsenal!